Hey there, I'm Jeremiah, and I'm thrilled to welcome you to the Throw Zone, where I teach you all about the juggling arts. Today's class is going to be a lesson in club spinning. Specifically, I'm going to teach you about various kinds of shoulder reels. And this content does build, to some degree, off of some of the previous videos I've made about club spinning. You can find those in the description below if you feel like this class is a little ahead of you. Before we start, I also want to say that club spinning has been around for generations as a form of physical fitness using weighted clubs. These are not weighted clubs, and the techniques that I'll be going over in this series are intended for the art of club manipulation and spinning. If you're planning on using weighted clubs, that is not what this class is intended for. Just so you know, I'm going to have this video mirrored so that when I say my right hand, it'll kind of look like my left hand. It'll be like you're in a mirror for ease of following along. The first thing you're going to learn today are opposite direction shoulder reel extensions. An extension is simply moving the club in a circle with your shoulder at the center, and the shoulder reel is when I add that spin behind my head. To do so, I'm going to be holding the club in ring grip the entire time, so you can actually have a pretty firm grip on the clubs during this whole trick. Moving it in the extension in a full circle. When it gets to that 12 o'clock position, I'm going to let it swing once behind my head, staying in the ring grip. Then you go back into your extension. So use the momentum of the extension to allow the club to swing behind your head. Just do it with one hand at first. Make sure that you're spinning in the clockwise direction if you're using your right hand. And if you're using your left hand, you'll be spinning in the counterclockwise direction. So same thing, start with an extension. When it gets to the 12 o'clock, allow it to fall behind your head. Do it with each hand independently before you try and combine it together. When you're ready to combine the two together, start with your right hand, extend up in the opposite direction, swing it behind your head, and as soon as it's starting to swing behind your head, you want the other hand to leave. So it looks like this. You end up doing both of them simultaneously, and basically when the top hand is in its shoulder reel, the other hand is just hitting the bottom of the circle. Now let's try it the other direction. So basically the same thing, only with my right hand, I'm going to extend in the counterclockwise direction. And then when it gets up to the 12 o'clock position, let it fall behind my head for a single spin. It should feel smooth when you do that single spin. If it doesn't, you might be causing the club not to use the momentum that you built. It's useful to practice in front of a mirror to help make these look smooth. Then, with the left hand in the clockwise direction, start with your extension and let it fall behind your head. Nice. Ready to combine them together? Same thing, only rather than starting with a cross body, you're going to start with an open body. So right hand's going to lead, open body. When it gets up to the top, that's when the other hand will leave. And same thing. When the top hand is mid-spin, the lower hand should also be in the middle of its extension. They should be pointing down at the same time. That's one thing that you can mark to keep track of whether you're keeping time of the pattern. Rather than doing them at opposite times, let's have both hands leave at the same time. First, we'll do the one where we cross our arms to start out. Cross both arms, let both of them fall behind your head. In the other direction, this time you'll open up first, and when you get to the top, you'll let them fall behind your head, and then your arms will cross. So you cross at the end rather than the beginning. This. If you can jump straight. Let's explore shoulder reels with a few other timing and directions. The next one we're gonna do is same time, same direction, like this. If you can jump straight into it, great. If you need to break it down, start with one club and start with your extension. I'm gonna use my right hand in the clockwise direction for starters. And when it gets up to the top, I'm gonna add a circle, just like I did before. Then with the left hand, I'm gonna take it also in the clockwise direction and add that circle behind my head. So right hand, clockwise, drops behind the head. Left hand, also clockwise, drops it behind the head. Combining them together, they're gonna go at the same time. Up, drop behind the head. Both of them simultaneously. Drop behind the head. Great. Now change directions. If you need to, do it with one club at a time. Right hand extends, drops it behind the head. Left hand extends in the same direction, drops it behind the head. That way you've trained each hand individually, built that muscle memory with small bits so that you can then combine them into something more complex. See if you can change directions by just swinging your arms and letting it come back the other way. Or see if you can, at the bottom of your circle, go for a full spin, 360 degrees. Let the clubs take you around. Similarly, we're going to try it now in split time, so that when one is up, the other one is down. Starting with the left hand, you're going to do the shoulder reel behind your head, and then the right hand is going to have immediately followed it in the same direction. So it looks like this. So start with your hands out to the sides and start moving them in the clockwise direction. When you get to this point with one up, one down, you got to keep your lower arm, in my case my right arm, moving as my left hand starts to make the circle behind the head. And then when it finishes the circle behind its head, my right arm is starting its circle behind the head as my left arm extends down and around. So one circle followed by the other circle. The reason your arms don't get tangled up in this position doing this is because you're adding the shoulder reel. Left behind the head, right behind the head. Left behind the head, right behind the head. Make sure that that shoulder reel feels nice and smooth. You can also stop in this position over your head. I like to think of the forward circle just being a really small version of the extension. Another thing you can try is extending the arms and using that to turn you in a circle. It goes like this. Or you can stop your arms at the extension and add some pedals at 3 and 9 o'clock. Lots of options with this move. Nicely done. That was a breakdown of shoulder reel extensions in opposite direction at the same time and at split time, as well as same direction, same time, and same direction, split time. There's plenty more where that came from. Check out the other club spinning videos in the description below. Thanks for being here. Check out the Patreon if you want to connect with a like-minded community of jugglers and spinners, all hoping to level up their object manipulation game. You'll be able to get access to more instructional content, personalized feedback, as well as the ability to sign up for one-on-one lessons.